AITA for ignoring our daughter's inconvenient boundary? Am I the asshole? Region alarming 1445. Or NTA this is insane. You can respect her boundaries but she needs to work within your rules, schedule, etc. She can't just dictate something then make it impossible to go about your own business. It's ludicrous. The good thing is, you have the upper hand here. If she doesn't want her stuff touched, then she'd better get it off the line before you need to use it. 1. Ask for her input on timing. But being clear, there are 6 people living in the house and she gets the equivalent of 1/6 of the available time to do her wash. 2. If she fights it, assign her a time. 3. Respect that time. And don't do any of your wash during her scheduled time, so she can't come back at you that your stuff was in the wash. 4. Go about your business. If his stuff is in the wash, on the line, and she's not around to move it, you move it. Done. Period. This teenager making rules bullshit has to stop. You are the parents. And it's your house. Canadian_01. 8558. 8. NTA. The only reason you're not respecting her boundaries is because she's being inconsiderate and selfish. Ironically, that would stomp on most people's boundaries. Tell her you have no problem respecting hers, providing she respects yours. Spare Article 396. 971. Greater than she's upset because she says we're not respecting her boundaries by monopolizing the laundry facilities when you've asked her not to. She's not respecting your boundaries. NTA. Big tree. 751. 1. NTA. It is unreasonable for her to expect you to wait around for her to free up the facilities. If she doesn't like the 1 day a week idea, she can take it to a laundrette otherwise. If she isn't around to move her washing in a timely way, it will be moved for her. She doesn't get to set boundaries around the use of common facilities in a home she doesn't pay for. New Razmataz 2148. 1590. NTA. That's not a boundary. A boundary is what you build around yourself. Think a fence. You can build a boundary fence around your life, home, but you can't on your neighbors. Sure, no one touches my clothes, but the moment you clothes are obstructing your neighbor, it gets removed. Same with, say, your kid's ball. No one is to take your kid's ball, but if it ends up on someone else's lawn, of course they can move it out of the way. Potter squash. 361. I hate the weaponization of psychiatric terms. Not everything you don't like hearing is a trigger. And not everything you don't like happening is a boundary. She doesn't like you touching her clothes? Fair enough. You don't like her leaving her stuff blocking laundry? Also fair enough. But framing as a violation of her boundary, she's made it as a borderline assault. You can't negotiate from there, and your reasonable needs make you wonder if you are XA0 you are. NTA XA0. Kimba the Tabby Lion. 763. 60. NTA she's applying her college life to your home. Lol. That's very similar to what you experience in a college dorm. However, your home is not a college dorm. She needs to do her laundry when she is home to retrieve it if she doesn't want anyone touching it. And that's just it. I don't like my husband doing my laundry either. Always afraid he's gonna dry something that can't be dried. Lol. But if I forget about my laundry and leave and he moves it so he can do his stuff, well, that's my problem, not his. Best of luck. Off. Quote. Dora the Urban Explorer. 209. AITA because I won't ask the teacher to change my daughter's grade. Am I the asshole? Sad Caregiver 4067. YT also the school counselor is telling you you're being too harsh. And your response isn't to own the fact you're being too harsh. Your response is to blame your daughter for not listening to you. Gee, I wonder why she isn't listening. Could it possibly be that you're not listening to her? Really listening to her and helping her cope with her reality. And for trying to escape her reality in a short story she wishes was real. You want her to live in the real world, which to her probably really sucks. You're doing nothing to help your child at all. Did it ever occur to you that maybe she gave an example of how she spent her time during spring break? Making up stories in her head is an incredibly great way to spend vacation when your family can't afford to take you anywhere. She probably didn't have enough material to write about what she did on her vacation, nor did she want to open herself to being judged for being poor. You should be encouraging her writing, because if she's any good at it, she may end up becoming an author and making a lot of money doing something she loves. You should be encouraging her artistic side. Did you know that Christopher Paolini began writing his novel, Aragon, after graduating high school at the age of 15? It spent 151 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. It became an international bestseller. He's a multi-millionaire today. Even if your daughter doesn't become a NYT best-selling author, she has something that brings her joy. And in this world today, that's vital. Kids are suffering with mental illness, depression every day. And to find something that brings her happiness is amazing. You should be supporting her. Her teacher is an asshat. She should have talked to your daughter to ask her quietly what she did on vacation. When she heard that it was sitting at home doing nothing, the teacher should have accepted her work. Most teachers would have done just that. It's not always doing exactly what you're told to write. It's about getting the kids to write. Period. You could advocate for your daughter. You should advocate for your daughter. She needs you in a world full of criticism, and rather than be there for her, you've added to her burden. At least if you attempt to talk to the teacher, she knows you're on her side. Lilimimi. 5580. YTA. Unless your daughter's story was a grammatical nightmare with atrocious spelling, you should be standing up for her. And you should be celebrating her talent and encouraging her to work on it. XA0 ask the teacher one simple question. Since the assignment was what I did on spring break, would this statement at the top of her paper change her grade *** while on spring break? I wrote the following short story. Quote, Ditto Head Forever. 3233. YTA, the school counselor, a trained mental health professional, told you that you are being too harsh and you ignored that advice. A mental health expert who has worked with your daughter and understands the situation gave you advice, and you are looking to strangers on the internet to agree with you. That's how you traumatize a child. Google adverse childhood experiences and then maybe rethink your parenting style. XA0. Steph 075. 1592. 2. Greater than that's not how the real world works. YTA. That's how her world works. You're giving her nothing through no fault of your own. Circumstances being shit and all that, but like fuck, you're punishing her for having an imagination? Odd and unnecessary. Review Oak 929. 2183. This is a bit of an onion here. First, all the good energies I can send your way for managing single parenthood. Ines had a boring spring break. I am actually impressed with her interpretation of the assignment. And if I had been her teacher, I was a professor for 15 years, I probably would have viewed her submission differently. Problem is, I wasn't her teacher, and we have no way to really know what the parameters and expectations of the assignment were, and whether or not Ines fulfilled them, without asking the teacher. So a few thoughts here. Part of life is learning and applying the rules. Particularly challenging when you think the rules are stupid or invalid. Part of life is also learning to deal with jerk $1 people. Perhaps this teacher is one of those. Part of life when you have kids is to know which battles to fight for them. I don't have much advice here, however, because embellishing for poetic license. My 17-yo may break my psyche into shards of glass. Part is also knowing when you being too harsh. A little YTA here. She's in 8th grade. And middle school sucks. Drop the pencil. 786. YTA. Coming from someone who has worked in education for 15 years, I would schedule a meeting with the teacher to better understand your daughter's grade and ask about this assignment. Specifically, if there's an opportunity to provide some insight to the teacher regarding her doing absolutely nothing during break and writing a short story instead, then do it. If your daughter actually performing at grade level and not missing assignments, then the teacher is being a bit over the top. I don't get how AD is even possible if she is a good writer. I think this is an opportunity for you to be an advocate for your child in a positive way and show her you care. The counselor is right. Get a meeting, talk to the teacher, and cut your daughter some slack. Sounds like she's missing out on a ton of things and is in a super strange and uncomfortable age. Miss Deb 99912, 17395. Info. Did you even consider doing something with your daughter during the break? I.e., go to the park for a nature walk or explore some part of town you'd never been to before. As in, actually spend time with the kid instead of dragging her to work with you. Old_inevitable 8553. 573. AITA for sticking to my word and not giving my daughter an allowance after her 16th birthday. Am I the asshole? Search Senior 6144. NTA. You set expectations, and have stuck to those expectations, and have been consistent in their application. Since you did the same thing with the older brother, if you want nuance in an answer. If you think she is looking for work and is struggling for reasons she cannot control, it might be worth offering to compensate her for volunteering or casual jobs at home to earn that income back. Not chores, mind you, and not things she might have done to earn her allowance previously, but actual jobs. The allowance, which I assume is not equivalent to an actual income, continues if she is actually looking for work, and otherwise doing things with her time that make the world a better place. Join a park cleanup. Volunteer as a dog walker with the local pound or rescue. Work with a festival or local event group. It's fairly important that her allowance not be an actual income here, since she's going to want actual money soon and she needs to understand that it comes from work. But I could see my way to continuing a bit of pocket money if she's actively job hunting and also adding to the community while she's looking. Rockology_Adam, 1782. Info. Was the allowance earned by doing chores, work? If so, are you now expecting her to perform that work for free? Based on Op's answer, since the allowance wasn't tied to anything. NTA. Anxious Necessary 83. 4907. 7. NTA.16 is a perfectly reasonable age to begin part-time work. Younger than that is really impractical. Most places can't hire kids younger than that unless they off the books, and that's not a good idea for anyone. Op even gave Kara an easy solution: babysitting for friends, family. She doesn't even have to find a job, and work history is something she can put on her college applications in a couple of years. Sounds like the kid is a little lazy and/or entitled. This is a great way to cure her of that. And if Op did the same with older brother, I am not sure why Kara would be surprised that this is the expectation. Remarkable_inchworm. 546. I worked every summer starting at 15. I worked fast food and waitressing stuff. I still had fun while working. Often coworkers were at or close to my age. And I made new friends. I could spend my money on whatever I wanted. By the time I graduated high school, I had a work record that put me ahead of every kid who never worked before 18. Even fast food jobs will tell a future employer important stuff like, can you show up on time, get along with others, and have a good attendance record. It made all the difference between an employer picking me or some unknown entity that has never worked a day in their life. It's a good lesson to learn early about how one's efforts pay off in the future. Edit. Your NTA. Pussycat XOXO. 180. My mom did something alike where she made my allowance dependent on me getting a job. I think from 15 onwards? So I still go my allowance. But only if I also got a job. For me it was definitely good to be forced to get a job and learn the value of money. Money equals time equals money equals time. And teaching things to their children is what parents should do. So if you as a parent think she should get a job to learn, I think that is good. It is child dependent though. Assuming your husband is her father, it is weird you guys didn't discuss it beforehand. If she is expected to buy her own clothes, lunch, phone bill, etc., I think it is fair to pay part of that. Vote NTA personally. Naive Mechanic 4683. 38. Info. Do you provide all her essentials, including clothes if she needs them? Melodic _arm _ 387. 583. NTA. Also, I think a lot of people commenting YTA are children themselves because she could literally just babysit one day every 2 weeks or so. They're acting like she's being forced into the workforce, lol. And I assume you still pay for her necessities and this allowance is for things she wants. Jewelry. A pretty top. Her outings? Edit to add. I'm a 20-year-old college kid and really wished my parents made me get a job for just a few weeks. Or something. Learning discipline and time management with a job is incredibly more difficult than high school. Because everything is structured and laid out for you. Parents make you food, make you wake up, make you do homework, etc. I struggled a lot my first year in college because so had no such discipline. The only exception I see is if she is in very important clubs, sports that are important for her. College admissions and future is very competitive, things like that create that discipline anyways. Comprehensive GER 469. 351. AITA for refusing therapy with my whole family and ignoring my parents begging to try? Am I the asshole? Today Sensitive 6841. NTA. Greater than this made them suggest all 4 of us to go to therapy. But with someone new, since the old place we went to would not be happy with them ignoring the advice. They don't want therapy. They want someone to agree with them and to tell you to accept their neglect of you. Diminishing patience. 7691. 1. NTA. And you're exactly right. Suck it up until you're old enough to leave and look after yourself properly. Then don't look back. I'm so sorry you've been treated this way. That is so awful. Just reading it made me feel ill. Northern Tropicaz. 794. 90. NTA. But I do recommend you go to therapy for yourself to learn how to cope with this as you get older. You'd be surprised by how much built-up resentment you have that it's always great to get it off your chest and have someone to listen and guide you. Your parents made their choice, and if they can't even spend one day with you out of the week because of your sister, then that's on them. Forcing you to do therapy together is unreasonable, especially since the number one thing they will advise is for them to spend one-on-one time with you, which has proven to be ineffective. Exotic _flight _ 6179. 536. 6. NTA. Your parents made their choice. Unfortunately, it'll be several years before they realize they lost you forever. Start making your future plans now, so when the time comes you'll never have to return to them. I'm so sorry. Aquavanatus. 393. 9. They told me they willing to work on it, so I need to be reasonable. Doesn't sound like they are. Hard to believe anything has changed in a few months. The same thing will just happen again. That really sucks. Regardless, I wish you every luck for the future. You can't choose your family. You will find better people. NTA. Stoat ____ King. 272. 82. Let them beg you or absolutely NTA. I'm so sorry for you. Hoping things will be okay. Recent challenge 7732. 106. NTA. They made their bed and they can lie in it. I've never understood why parents with multiple children always treat one better than the other. My mother has 3 children and she does this and always makes one of us the new random golden child of the month per year, and I hate it. So sorry you're going through this, man. Have you ever considered individual therapy just by yourself to process everything? Marie_Witch 160